Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Laubach. I want to take a few moments and go over the research paper checkpoint number 2. Now, for the traditional research paper and the policy change research paper, checkpoint number 2 is basically the same. If you are doing the oral history research paper, your format for checkpoint number 2 is a little different, and we will go over that as well. I want to begin by going over checkpoint number 2 for the traditional research paper and the policy change paper. As I mentioned a few moments ago, the format for checkpoint 2 is the same for both of these types of paper. So you will note that there is no format requirement for the outline, so you can do the outline in any way that you choose. But the outline should be divided into these 5 parts. So part A should be your introduction, then contextualization, background information, what is important for us to know about your topic. And then at the end of your introduction, you will have your thesis statement, which is B, your argument, your assertion, meaning that you could reasonably counter-argue what your thesis is as well. So for part C, you are going to lay out your arguments. I want you to lay out at least 3 arguments and provide some evidence for each. So what are the reasons that the reader should be convinced of your position in your thesis statement? So that would be the arguments portion. The counter-arguments portion for D, I want you to provide at least 2 counter-arguments and provide some evidence for each. So what would be some reasonable arguments against your thesis statement? And then E is your conclusion. So wrap up your essay, restate your thesis, what is important for us to know and think about moving forward about your topic. Finally, hammer home your thesis statement and wrap up your argument. Now, checkpoint 2 for the oral argument paper. This checkpoint is significantly different than the traditional and the policy change checkpoint 2. What you are going to do is create 10 to 12 questions that you plan to ask your interviewee. In creating your questions, I want you to follow the following guidelines. Prepare the list of questions, include some basic ones about aspects of the person's identity, such as age, level of education, and occupation. In devising your questions, consider the interviewee's historical context. In what setting were they experiencing? What was their point of view? Think about the kind of issues that would be most helpful for you to learn about. Also, be prepared with follow-up questions. So if while you are giving your interview, the response by your interviewee makes you think of another question, that is fine for you to follow up and ask that question. So you are going to ask basic low-level questions, and then you are also going to include open-ended questions. You really want to focus your questions on the perspective of the interviewee. So how did they experience this particular powerful historical event that they are sharing with you about? So that is the information about checkpoint number 2. Now remember, checkpoint number 2 is due on Friday, June 4th at 3 p.m. And again, that is a soft deadline, so if you need more time than that to submit it, you can do that. As always, please let me know if you have any questions, either via email or in class. We have a little bit of a crazy schedule this week with the Keystone tests in the morning. So when we do have class, if it is not during the lunch set, our classes will be very, very short. So you will be required to do a lot of this work for checkpoint 2 on your own. I hope this info helps, and I hope you're having a great day.